I have been asked to share with you an experience that we often have in classwork in the States, and I'm not sure but what we may have had it some years ago here, but I know it hasn't been recently. And so I'm going to ask you to join me in this. First of all, sit back and relax. Get as comfortable as you can. Remember always that on the subject of bodily positions, that our only thought or object is to get comfortable so as to be absent from the body and present with the Lord. And that means that insofar as possible, we must have the body out of our thoughts, and we can only do that by getting comfortable. Now, there are those who could not be comfortable in any but a lotus position, and if so, they are welcome to take the lotus position. Most of us, however, are more comfortable sitting in an upright chair, back against the back of the chair, feet on the floor, hands in the laps, relaxed. But that is not a formula, and it has no spiritual significance. The only purpose is to get comfortable so that we can forget the body. And now we are going to take up the exercise, if you call it that, which brings to us a realization of our free and unfettered identity, I. Look down at your feet. And ask yourself the question, am I down there? Am I in those feet? Or are those feet mine? Do those feet belong to me? Naturally, it must be clear to you that you are not feet, and that you are not in feet. But these feet are yours. They are yours for whatever purpose feet were made for. Yours to use. You are the possessor. I am the possessor of these feet. I am not feet, and I am not in feet, but these feet are mine. And now let us go up to the limb, up to the knee. Travel up and down the limbs to the knee. And repeat. Am I there? Am I limbs, or are these limbs mine? No, these limbs are mine. I direct these limbs. I say to them, walk this way, and they must do so. I direct them. They are mine, instruments given to me of God for use on earth. We go to the waist, and we repeat these limbs, all of them, given to me of God, instruments for my use. I am not there. I am not in those limbs, but I govern them. Now let us travel right up to the neck and include the arms. Am I there? Am I body? Am I stomach? Am I chest? Am I arms? No. These are mine, instruments given to me of God for my use on earth. By means of this body, I travel about. I am not in the body, and I am not body. I govern this body. I direct it. I keep it clean. I treat it as a tool given me of God for my use on earth, an instrument for expression. I care for it, I feed it, I clothe it. It is mine. It is not me. It is mine. I am not in it. I direct it. I feed it. I govern it. I bathe it. I clothe it. Now right up to the head and all the way to the tipmost end of the hair. Am I in that head? Am I confined inside that head? Is that head me? And the answer is clear, no. This head is mine, this brain is mine, these ears and eyes. All of this has been given to me as an instrument for my use. I am the law unto it. I govern it, I direct it, I wash it. It is mine. And so I take a glance down to the feet and run right up to the head, and I ask myself, where am I? Who am I? What am I? I cannot find myself in the feet, in the limbs, in the body, in the head. I cannot find myself in my hands or my arms. I cannot discover myself in my brains. From head to foot, from foot to head, I am not there. And I know by all the reports in the paper that surgery has taken place on people from the toenails right up to the top of the head. And nobody has ever reported finding a man or a woman in the body. Nobody has ever discovered man or woman in a body. A live body in surgery or a corpse in death. Nobody has found a man or woman inside. I am not there. I am not confined to this body. I am not body. But the body is mine. It is an instrument through which I am functioning. I walk with it and I talk with it. I eat with it. This body is an instrument given me for my use, but I am no more in this body than I am in an automobile. I, where am I? Where can I find me? Who am I? What am I? Why do I exist? What is the purpose of my life? And above all things, again and again and again, where am I? I cannot find me. And as my thought wanders, where am I? Who am I? Why am I? The answer comes to me, I and my Father are one. I and my Father are one. Therefore, God must be my identity. I and my Father are one. This must mean that where God is, I am. Son, thou art ever with me. Where God is, I am. And all that I have is thine. All that the Father hath is mine. All embodied in the I that I am, because I and the Father are one. And where God is, I am. Therefore, I am not confined in a body. I am not confined in a house. I am not confined indoors or outdoors, for where God is, I am. The place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Whither shall I flee from thy Spirit? Impossible. Where God is, I am. And God is neither low here nor low there. God fills this universe. I and my Father are one. And this means then, who am I? God constitutes my identity. Where am I? Where God is, I am, for I and the Father are one. The place whereon I stand is holy ground, for God is there. Where God is, I am. Why am I? The heavens declare the glory of God. The earth showeth forth his handiwork. Therefore, I manifest God's glory. I show forth the harmony, the wholeness, the completeness, and the perfection of God's being. My function on earth is to show forth God's grace and God's glory. I am the instrument as which and through which God appears on earth. God the Father, God the Son, we are one. All that God is, I am. All that the Father hath is mine. The very place whereon I stand is holy ground, for I and the Father are one. Up in heaven, down in hell, walking through the valley of the shadow of death, God and I are one. Why? That I may show forth his glory. My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If I speak of myself, I bear witness to a lie. God's glory shines through me. God's grace comes forth through me. God's love is made manifest through me. My purpose then must be to show forth God, to be that place where God shines through. That is why I must maintain my spiritual integrity. I cannot violate my own integrity without violating all that I know of God, for I and the Father are one. To what end was I born? That I may show forth God's glory on earth, that I may manifest not my health, but the health of God. God is the health of my countenance. Not that I may show forth my wealth. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, but, Son, all that I have is thine. Therefore I am to show forth God's infinite wealth. Nothing less than infinity and 12 baskets full left over. Not of mine, and not for my glory. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Then I am here as an instrument as which God can walk the earth. As in heaven, so on earth, God is the only being. As on earth, as in heaven, so on earth, God is the only being. And I am here to show forth God's glory, God's wholeness, God's completeness, to show forth the infinite nature of God's being, even the glory of God's body. For know ye not, your body is the temple of the living God. Therefore I am to show forth the glory of God's body, not my body, God's body, appearing on earth as my body. I am not confined to time or space, not any more than God is, for I and the Father are one. God is from everlasting to everlasting, and I am from everlasting to everlasting, for I and the Father are one. I exist to show forth God's immortality, God's eternality, the infinite nature of God's being. For all that the Father hath is mine. Son, all that I have is thine. I and the Father are one. I am not body. I am spirit. But I have a body, and it was given to me for my use, and through it I show forth God's handiwork, God's government of body, God's government of business, God's government of home. I look from head to foot, from the feet to the head. I am not there, but I govern, I direct, I animate. I am not in body, and I am not body, for I am I, and I am one with God, and I exist as God consciousness, as God life, God being me. God the Father, God the Son. Just one, not two. And I am. Before Abraham was, I am. And I will be here unto the end of the world. And I will be with me unto the end of the world. Say that again. I will be with me. I, the infinite, immortal identity, will be manifested as this individuality unto the end of the world. And I am the bread, the wine, the water, the meat, the resurrection. This very I, which is not confined in my body, this very I which I am, no wonder I don't have to take food for thought. I don't have to take thought for food or clothing or housing. I do not have to take thought, for I embody my good. I already am the bread. I do not have to demonstrate it. I already am the meat, the wine, the water. I do not have to demonstrate them. I am the resurrection. I do not have to be resurrected. I already am the power of resurrection. The power of resurrection is embodied within me, and therefore if you destroy this temple or any part of it, I will raise it up again. The I that I did not find in my body, the I that I am, the I that is one with God, God the Father and God the Son. This I that I am embodies within itself all that I shall ever need unto eternity, just as the seed embodies the tree. And the tree unfolds from the seed. And so my life's experience unfolds from the I that I am, and the potentiality of everything of which I shall ever have need is embodied within the I that I am. I need not fear man. I need not fear what mortal man can do to me. I need not take thought for man whose breath is in his nostril. I need not fear princes. All of which I shall ever have need is embodied within the I that I am, which is one with God, one with infinity, one with eternality, one with immortality. My immortality is already embodied within the I that I am, and it is unfolding moment by moment. And I shall keep on moment by moment unto the very end of the world. For I will never leave me nor forsake me. I is the secret word. I is the sacred word. I is the word that should never lightly be spoken of. I is the word that should only be whispered when in the very presence of God, in meditation. This secret of the word I must never be taught by anyone to anyone until such time as they have shown by their devotion to the search for God, until such time as they have given years and have shown their readiness and their preparedness for it. True, come eat and drink without money, without price, and yet sell all that you have for this pearl. Think on those two statements. Sell all that you have for this pearl. It has no relationship to money. It only means that as you have received this secret sacredly given to you, after you have shown yourself worthy, after you have shown by your devotion, your love, your gratitude, your seeking and searching after God, you have been given the secret name, the sacred name. So must you hold it secretly and sacredly within yourself, imparting it only under the same sacred and secret conditions under which you yourself have received it. You have earned the right to this name and identity by your devotion. Demand of all others that this final word be not given until they too have fulfilled as you have. For remember this, those who can hold the word I secretly and sacredly within themselves, realizing that this I is one with God, therefore is of the very nature of God, in quantity and quality, and that this I is the source of your good. It is the source from which emanates your health, your harmony, your wholeness, your completeness, your perfection, your infinite supply, your integrity. This is why those who come to you who are not happily married will never be until they learn that their husband or wife is this very I. And then in their presence, you are in the presence of holy ground. In the presence of your wife, in the presence of your husband, you are in the presence of holy ground. For the I of them is as much one with God as the I of you, even if some of them do not realize this truth. Spiritually, marriage means I and my Father are one, and in this divine union I find my wholeness, completeness, and perfection. In human relationships, the mystical marriage is enacted forth on earth as human marriage. And it is meant originally that just as I and the Father become one and not two, God the Father and God the Son one and not two, so in human marriage it is originally meant that man and wife shall be one and not two. One in will, one in life, one in being, one in interest, one sacred wholeness, completeness, and perfection. But the tragedies of human life have in most marriages broken that relationship until people just come to look upon each other as two human beings. It isn't so. A human marriage is the counterpart of the mystical marriage. We begin to experience the joy of the spiritual union in human marriage when we begin to understand that just as the place whereon I stand is holy ground, so the place whereon my wife or husband stands is holy ground, where I and the Father are there. And this brings to you now the fuller meaning of the chapter, Love Thy Neighbor, in practicing the presence. Now you'll know that since I and my Father are one, you and your Father are one, you and I are one. There is only one I infinitely manifested. Therefore, all that I am, you are. All that you are, I am, for we are one. All that blesses me, blesses you. For me to give to you is like transferring my good from one pocket to another pocket in the same suit. For you to give to your family, to your friends, to your community needs. For you to give is to just transfer your currency from one pocket to another pocket in the same suit. For there is but one I, and I am that I, whether I am me or I am you, or I am the grocer or the butcher or the baker or the candlestick maker. I am he, and he is me. I am you, and you are me. We are one. There is no such thing as lessening our good by giving, by sharing, because we give only unto ourselves. For there is but one self. I am the self of me. I is the self of you. I and the Father are one. And my conscious union with God is my conscious union with all spiritual being. You, he, she, it. I and the Father are one, therefore I am of the nature of God. I am of the Spirit of God, I am of the mind of God, I am of the life of God, I am of the soul of God, and embodied within the I that I am is all that I shall ever need unto the end of the world. I need not seek it, pray for it, demonstrate it. I need only abide in the realization of my true identity. Who am I? I and the Father are one. That's who I am. I and the Father are one. I am the Father and I am the Son, one. And all that the Father hath is mine. Where am I? Wherever God is, I am, inseparable, indivisible, because of oneness. One cannot be separated from itself. I cannot be separated from God. God cannot be separated from me, for God and I are one, inseparable, indivisible, whole. complete, perfect. Why am I? To show forth God's glory, to show forth God's wholeness, God's completeness, God's perfection, God's allness. That's why I am. I was born to this, that I might show forth God's grace. And so you understand this passage of Scripture, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Where I am is liberty, freedom. For I am free, not from anything or from anybody. I am free in God. In my oneness with God, I am a state of freedom. As God cannot be bound, fettered, finitized, or limited, neither can I. For I and the Father are one. All that God is, I am. Within the I that I am is my infinite being, infinity itself expressing itself. I must not look to man whose breath is in his nostril for anything. Yet I must share with everyone as from God's treasury. For I have access to infinity because of my oneness with God. And the secret name is I. I am neither low here nor low there. I am not in a body, I am not in a house. I and my Father are one, and I am omnipresent. And God's grace shines in us and through us unto all of this universe as a light unto those still through ignorance in darkness. And so it will be until we meet again, many of us on September 29th. Thank you for 1959.